Good afternoon. Hello, my name is Ryan. I am Punk Monk Fist. This is Punk Monk Fist Gaming Adventures going with you live right now. And today we are going to be talking about my 3D printing logistics. I know that seems a little bit boring, but there are methods to the madness of 3D printing and trying to run a 3D printing farm as to what's optimal, what's the best, what's going to sell, things of that nature. Um, you know, going through all of my options as far as like, well, what's going in your shop? What are you going to do? What's your plan? How do you execute these certain things? How do you overcome these obstacles? Things like that. And I can honestly say, within my years of experience of trying to deal with this and my ability to engineer, I will say, should I be able to overcome my ADHD, I guess you can blame it on, because some of the challenges is me staying focused, but that's not really the issue. But I've overcome that by solving the logistical issue and solving the problem. So if I can solve the problem, which usually it'll come to me eventually if I stare at it long enough, but I have to walk away from it, maybe forget about it, and come back to it later. And usually then I can come with a clear conscience. Usually when it comes to ADHD, it comes with your mood. If you're not in the mood to do it, you ain't going to be able to do it. So managing your mood and putting yourself in the spot to be able to do it is the way to do it, and to overcome that challenge. So I have been trying to exercise that by just getting up every day, doing something to accomplish, to keep dopamine flowing, I guess. I always feel better when a print comes right off the 3D printer, and I can get that every couple hours. So as long as that dopamine flows and it's coming out right every time, that's the key. Now, I run at about, I would say, a 90% success rate when it comes to my prints. Usually I can look at it, tell you where it's going to have a problem, and then be able to adjust and fix that issue. And now that I have more options, I'm seeing how that's much more possible and more effective depending on what machine you're using. So as long as you're using the right machine, really is the key. So have a little bit of versatility, a little bit of variety in your farm will give you a little bit of solution to some of the problems. Maybe the problem is just you're printing this on the wrong machine, and that's why. Lately, I've been dealing with a lot of filament issues. I had to order a cheaper filament to try to keep costs low. And I bought 30 spools of white, and it has been a nightmare. Sometimes the AMS system doesn't accept the spool properly. It doesn't even roll right, so I'll get jams in that. It'll even bend and break inside that machine. So I'm dealing with that. So keeping a machine running with it can be difficult. Not to mention the Cobra 2s don't like that filament at all, and they have, for the most part, failed 85% of the time. One time, it did look like it was going to succeed. Something happened, got in the way, not working out. The most success I've seen with it so far has been on the Cobras, which, the regular Cobras, not the Cobra 2s. And it seems like it's more conducive to that kind of printer than for these higher grade, more touchy systems in the Cobra 2 and up. I've had to adjust temperature settings and things of that nature, which I think I've finally figured that out. I've put it in this system, in the Cura system. I can pull up my screen. Finally found the setting for it. Not that I was really looking, but I did finally see I can type in this number. And 215 is the magic number for most filaments. There are some, if you get like a specialty filament, like a specialty color, like even like the silk sometimes, and PETG and all that, there's a certain range of tolerances. And I've spent most of my time working, I'd say 99.99% with PLA. It is a beginner's filament, but it is also a very effective filament. Downsides to that is there's warping issues if you put it in the sun. My stuff's not meant to go in the sun. So as far as I'm concerned, if you leave a toy in the sun, it's going to fade of any kind. You leave anything in the sun, it's going to fade. It's just not going to survive. It's not for that environment. Now, there are objects that are, but these aren't. So don't put it in your car. Don't put it next to a window. I've got Tifa currently sitting next to a window, but she's a large print, and her warps aren't going to show. And she's painted, so she's not going to fade. So you just need to touch up the painting. Spent the last couple of days, or last day or so, trying to coordinate this freaking endeavor. I kept getting failure rates that were pretty high on these. These are the luxury balls, and then I have on the other one the heel ball, I believe is what it's called. Yeah. And after attempting to print 8 of the tops and only 2 survived, I was like, I gotta do something about this. Because out of my original print of the luxury ball, I guess that one's not going to show, but it's on there. And it'll be done in several hours. So this is 4 hours left. And really what's slowing it down is this inner color is black, so it has to swap between black and gold every time. I don't really care for that. These aren't going to open, so I don't need to worry about what it looks like on the inside. So if I can solve that later, I just might. Because that'll speed up a lot of this, so I don't have to sit here and paint black and gold at the same time. So these will print off faster, and it'll be more cost effective. It won't waste as much filament, but we're really not talking a lot of filament here. I think these get printed off at a rate of $7.50. Let's assume these numbers are correct. $30, and I would add about $1.50 and change. Let's say these come out to about $9. But in actuality, what I'm charging myself or the company for the machines, this is all to maintain the machines and to maintain my filament costs, is I overcharge the company and say, you owe the company this amount. And then if we have an excess, we'll go from there. That's just order more filament, better filament, or fix a machine. So all those costs are covered. Everything else after what we pay. So it'll take 2 of these. Well, there's this one. Then there's this one, which I just pulled off a plate of these. I did have a 100% success. I think one of them kind of messed up. 100% success rate. I believe I can use 7 of them. They all came out looking good. I think I looked at some of the details on some of them, and I think one isn't really going to pass. So, but I did get them to stick to the plate, and that has been the problem. I got several other plates ready to go. So these are all working together. I believe these go together. And I got the idea from my wife, who's been doing keychains, which these are some of hers. This is the color scheme. She saw that we got gold, and she's like, ooh, I'm going to use gold. I'm like, you're not using all this fucking gold. I need it. But I do also need to use it. So I'm not going to be using enough gold. I only got it for the luxury ball. And I think there's a couple other things that might be gold. But yeah, as far as the logistics are going for filament costs, I put everything at $30 a spool. Everything. So $30 is usually the average of what it costs out for a spool. Not really. I'd say that, but that's not really the cost. I would say it's probably closer to about 27 for a decent grade. Like Overture, Elegoo's not bad. I think Elegoo's on the cheaper end, and it usually depends on the color of things. Some of them don't do very well, but Overture has a very consistent quality rate. The variety in colors aren't all there, so I've had to outsource to different companies to get what I want. So until they expand their market, I'm going to have to utilize other things. And then, things like black and white are usually cheaper. When you get into like pink, purples, certain shades of green, certain types of yellow. Yellow itself is actually really hard to find. And then there's browns, grays, metallics. You got to be able to cover all those costs. So again, most of those will come out to about just above or just below $30. So if I put everything at 30, I'm like, fine. My black and whites, I did order about $1,600 worth of filament, and I got pink, purple, 2 different types of blue. And these are all 10 spools a piece, by the way. So that's 40 spools right there. Yellow, I think I got orange, and I bought a variety pack of just random spools. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll get lucky and get something nice. And they only all came out to about $11.99 a piece. So in actuality, the costs of these plates, isn't $582. It's actually probably closer to $250. So when I start here and circle this number here, and it tells me it's $6, I add on more money based on the item. And this I would put in the category of it's really thin. I'm counting for maybe a little bit of extra extrusion and for the chance for failure, because I'm not going to get 8. I only get 7. So I just I would put this somewhere around $8 and set it at 8. And that's how I do my pricing. So to make one of a whole luxury ball, assuming I get every single one off the plate, because luxury ball is also gold in the center. So I have to make custom framing for this. These don't open, they just click together. So things like the master ball here, timer ball, and then just a regular Pokeball. I'm going to make a bunch of these because I can make these for I think it's 13 cents. It cost me in total for the materials. Now there is a shell. What these are on the screen are the shells. That's the dome part. And this clips inside some clasps inside the black part. And then there's the button is a separate piece that kind of just twisted in place and it stays there. So I have to custom make those. Now, most of these frames, those middle frames are black with a white ball. The luxury ball has a gold frame and a gold button. So I have to custom make those too. And that's what I did today because I have some others that I need to do. I worked on this one has a purple frame and a blue button. And then there's another one that I've got that I'm out of the filament. I could have made it before. And I could have done all this before, but I've been waiting for the filament to come in. I thought I ordered it. Apparently I didn't. So I just pulled off a bunch of red tops from last night, and now I have a bunch of white bottoms and the frames and the buttons ready to go, and I can just piece them all together. And you know what? Why don't I show you that? Let me grab them real quick. Okay. Now I do have to make some modifications physically in order to get these to work. I just wanted to show off. This is what's printing now on the A1 that I couldn't show you before. And it's I think only one of them has failed. I don't know what's happening right now. What's happening? Oh, I hit all plates. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's gonna take about 15 hours, and I think this one failed so far. Like it just didn't. The raft didn't go down right, and I was like, let me save the filament. So it should be good to go. Now I have had some come off, and they looked fine, and then when I picked them off, they were not good enough, which sucks. I do have some stuff sitting here that I want to clean away real quick, but I also need to do something at the same time. Where is it? There it is. But anyway, by breaking up these balls, which originally the files came from here, I say those are the original files, but that's not really true. But this is where the idea came from. Modifying the shapes, I've managed to find several online. I did download this pack, but I managed to find several of these on Thingiverse. Thingiverse is free. So what I've done is I've taken a model that is also on Thingiverse of this plain Pokeball of the red white that I'm going to piece together for you, and it did work. It does work, but not all Pokeballs, when they're made, are the same shape, the same size, the same thinness, and so the functionality of some of these balls, I have to sit there and resize, reshape, and then add the mechanisms on the inside, which if you look closely enough, there's little clips that fit in there. Now those don't work, okay? They actually hinder the ability of the Pokeball from connecting together, and they probably add object permanence, meaning once you put it on, it's never coming off. I don't necessarily want that. I do need them to be secure, so there is a secure button in there that matches up and aligns with all these things. Let me show you. This is the frame. I haven't modified this part. There was no need to modify it. It actually comes out really good. You can find this file on Thingiverse. The Pokeball. It's in there. I can't quite remember the name of the artist, but if this is you, thank you. I point people in your direction all the time. And even though your shell sucks, and I can't, the way it prints off, I can't get it on there at all. So I make it fit. So technically it's not your design because your design doesn't work. Bro, no offense. I'm sure you put a lot of work into it, and I'm sure you were able to force a couple together to say, it works. It works as intended. Your frame works. I don't want little bits of plastic running around. There's already little bits of plastic running around my whole house. So essentially every ball I'm printing has been modified, reshaped to have these inside them to fit to this frame. And then I'll paint them. And I've had some that I've printed, and that's actually what happened. Another thing that happened with the luxury ball. I didn't align things properly, and it came out, and they weren't going to fit on the frame at all. And I don't have any gold frames to test that on, so I risked losing a black frame and an entire ball that I had just printed that cost me a couple bucks, or almost $4 because none of them printed properly. This is the part that's expensive when it comes to 3D printing. You got to get over this hurdle and you'll be all right. And you do that by getting really good. So that's clipped. If you want to look on the inside, the button slides in place and then you turn it and then it's secure. So now, boom. So imagine this is a different kind of ball. I would do this with the master ball top, same thing. Line it all up. Done. Now you can see the lines on this. It is printed on the Cobra Max. I figured the bottom of the ball, people aren't really going to be too focused on. Everybody's going to know that this is a 3D printing company, so the things look 3D printed. Do they look good for all intents and purposes? Yes. Are they cheap? $2. That's not bad. You know, this the cheapest item I can throw at somebody. Quite literally, but cheapest item that I make that requires extra steps. I do have the Clippy McGee that I designed, which the tray that I printed is still sitting on the floor waiting to be pieced apart, and I just haven't felt like doing it. I have 3 more trays of D&D minis that I have. I call them D&D minis, but they're just tabletop minis. I did do 1 tray of those to see how long it would take me, and it was about 45 minutes on an easy one. 2 of the trays are going to take some attention to detail, and I'm going to have to sit here and decide, do I really want to put that much time in it, or do I want to invest in a resin printer and learn how to do that? But the answer is yes. I am going to do that. I actually purchased the files for thousands of D&D or tabletop minis, and I bought the license to sell them. So as long as I produce them, throw them in a bin, people can come get them, whatever, fill a bag. I have the bags. So it's an idea I can implement. I just can't execute to its full capability because I suck at resin printing. I did shoot an offer to somebody for some extra side work if he wanted to do it. He's skilled enough to be able to probably at least produce a significant portion of product, and as well as expand into a different market. I just need somebody to print the stuff, and I'd be willing to pay him. I'd fill this bag and loosely if you want, and I'll pay you $100 or whatever. And then I'll do the math and be like, all right, you can only fit 8 pieces in here. 8 pieces cost me 80 cents or whatever. Most of them will sell, so I have to assume a loss of some. So I'll charge, double. I'll assume half of them won't sell. So we'll calculate as double as 16 cents a piece. Because essentially I'm buying the whole bag. I'm not buying the ones that are selling. I'm just buying them outright. And then I'll charge $8 a bag. That's pretty cheap. That's $1 a piece. If you can fit 8 of them in there. Maybe the bigger ones cost more. Maybe those are 22 cents. It's something else. But that's the simplicity of the design here. I just need certain colored frames, certain colored buttons for some of the items, and that's what I've done today. I've taken this file, which is 24 of them. It takes 3 hours, and that'll cover 24 balls. I can only print a max of 8, so that's three trays. That's assuming they all come out. So, and then I've got this guy. Not that one. Looking at another ball. I have the right to sell these items, by the way. And I'm in the process of trying to figure this one out, because I'll show you. It's a good file. From what I've successfully printed, which I can show you in a minute, they look good. It's the operational mechanics of this print needing to be printed the way it's printed. In order to really maximize the quality of the product here, I'm going to have to print it just like this with all the supports, which makes the underneath really ugly, which is what you're going to be seeing a lot of. I mean, the underneath of the ball right here looks like crap. It's very obviously 3D printed at that point. Like, you can see that it's struggling to 3D print it right. And that's where most of them, I'll sit there and be like, all right, it didn't come out right. We got to toss it. So I'll get out of 24 on a tray, probably 22, 20. There's a screening process. Some of the frames break. So cost effectiveness goes away. But this Pokeball in total cost me, I think, 13 cents in material. As far as time goes, I would say if I charged it at 30, that's where it's adjusting for the time and taking the time on my printer. And then I want to make sales. I figured things like this, these $2 balls, could go towards paying off the booth for the day. Cover the booth cost. Everything else we sell after that is because these will sell no matter at 13 cents. I sell them at $2. Hell yeah, just put a bin out. Now, the Master Ball and the ones that have the white bottom and a complicated top, something akin to this, which this is the Beast Ball, which I've been waiting for the color to come in, and it finally came in. I think it came in yesterday, but I found it on the porch today. Been waiting for this infill, this color right here. When I finished these, I finished the filament. So, and then I wanted to coordinate, would this be worth it? This was one of the first ones I made, and we actually discovered that you can paint and use the paint bucket tool in Bambu Labs. And it streamlined the process of making these. So now we're making them. I look like a bug. Do I look like a bug? I can see this, and I gotta say, yeah, look like a book. I like that. So anyway, these tops, I got to print on the other printer, and that's why I sit there and go, all right, these are like these. Considering I have to use 2 of them in the Beast Ball. This is $3. The frame and the button will be nothing, like practically nothing. I think it's a white button too. Let me double check that. Yeah, white button. The frames are nothing. I can print those in bulk, but I need 2 of these for each one. And this alone is $3 in material. So that puts this at like 303, 308, I think is what it is. So I have to think of a pricing difference because $2 is obviously not going to cover that. But widely available, cheap, $2. Somebody will go home and like, it's only $2. You know, come back and get another one. And I'll have them out. All right, they break, $2. You know, it's fun. It looks cool. You know, they're sturdy enough to throw. I wouldn't throw it against a hard surface. And I would say you could probably beam it hard enough to hit something and it kind of sting, you know. I remember one time I brought some of these to an event and I started throwing them at people and it apparently hurt. I'm ready. Big old basket of these, I think, will draw the attention of any child in the room, along with all these things. And I just put a big sign that says $2. Mommy, mommy, mommy. A kid's got $2. I want 5 of these. All right. Here you go, kid. What does that cost me? 50 cents. I made $9.50. You know, snag every customer at every level. And an adult will even look at these and like, this is kind of cool. You know, the hard part is it doesn't have a stand. So I got to print stands for these, and that's going to be a cost. That I'm going to have to figure out. That's right there. These are the stands that come with it. With the designs I have the right to sell. It's a different artist. It could be the same artist. Maybe somebody's stealing from it. Maybe it's just the basic design. I mean, how hard would it be to make a shell with this mechanism? I mean, I see it right there. The most complicated piece is probably, I would say, the button mechanism, which doesn't work. So yeah, that's how we're organizing this. I can get 4 of these on a print because I need 2, and most I can get is 8. And getting these was actually pretty easy because I used a really good filament. I think this actually was Bambu Lab filaments on the bottom, which makes a difference. So I will say Bambu Lab for their machines, their filament is best, but their availability on their colors is severely limited. For somebody that needs to be in constant production, being able to outsource is good. They're very good at versatility with other filaments, and even the cheaper filaments seem to work okay. A little annoying here and there, but it's more of a mechanical issue than it is a programming problem. Which I don't know who to blame for that. I guess the machine. But no, because it's the spool that's really the problem. If the spool is matched, now if the machine was made to take all spools, then that's a machine problem. That's what the new one that they're doing with the A1 thing is. It actually just rotates from the middle instead of rotating from the bottom, which I always thought was a more complicated design. Get one wheel, why 4? One wheel. Why 4 of them? We're not driving a car. It doesn't need the stability. It just needs to spin. Hold itself in place and spin. And they did a really good job with that. So the A1 is actually plug and play, as simple as they say. So with that ease, I've been able to organize and keep that machine, both those machines, just kind of consistently moving, and they're spitting out things at a success rate that I'm not going to deny. They know their shit. But again, with these mass productions, this is one that it opens and closes, and it will be. I think what I'm going to do is do all the ones that open and close. Those are all custom orders. They're made custom order. We do it one at a time because it requires that much attention. Whereas these that I have on sale right now, I could just let it run and they come off the plate ready to sell for you. But the bigger ones, the more complicated it gets, more expensive it can be. So some are available, not all, but we can custom order any amount. And I'm actually trying to pick and choose who or what, pick and choose what sells. So, and I can show you that with one item, two items. Okay, that took longer than I wanted it to, but I grabbed several objects for comparison, for discussion, and we can center it around the evolutions, which I did also purchase the rights to sell. Um, that's my proudest one so far. I can't wait to do a Leafeon one. Like, I'm super excited to do one. I might even just do one for myself. But this bitch costs $40 just to make. So, yeah. I did it for display and for appeal. So, let me show you Vaporeon. Get a better look. This is the blandest looking, crappiest looking Vaporeon I've ever seen. I'm not impressed by it. Who painted it? Me. Why? Why would I paint this and then talk shit about it? I don't want to make Vaporeon. I don't want to print Vaporeon. I hope I never have to print Vaporeon again. Okay? I want this one to be a rare commodity. Now you might think, why? Why would I pick a shitty one to be a rare commodity? Well, A, this is a garbage one. It'll be the only one you get. I have 4 of them. Okay? I have 25 of these. I need them to sell. Okay? I need them to sell, and they'll be priced to sell. Get them off my table. You know? Why? Because I've touched up this design, and I've made it better, and it looks better. What did I do? I changed the white of Vaporeon's mouth to dark blue. I don't even like the color scheme. Okay, but you can see that there's white in the mouth if you look close enough. The quality's there. But you can't see it on this at all. Okay? Now, why would I say and talk all this crap and be like, oh, it's a hot commodity? It's not. I don't want it to be, because Vaporeon is not a cost-effective print. Vaporeon cost me almost twice, I think 75% more to print a medium than all of the others. It is the most expensive one. The next one coming up is Flareon, but Flareon is a very thick piece, and it's all infill, really, that you're wasting. Same goes for Eevee. Eevee is one of those as well. They're in the same category, and I think they cost pretty much the same. But I can't, because of the design, the tail curves out. I don't have room for any more of these on the plate. So I can only print 4. So if I never have to print one again because they suck, cool. If people want to buy them because it's the last one in the set or it's their favorite, when I come out with the next design, it'll look better and they'll buy it again. They'll buy it again. They like it better. It's a better design. It looks good. The coloring is a lot better. I might even do yellow in the ears. Yellowish. Maybe a cream. I'm thinking cream. Okay. Speaking of, I think I need to get more, because we're using a lot of cream. A lot more than I thought we would be using. Use cream for Leafeon. which is another one that's very expensive to print, along with Sylveon, and it's the color changes. Every layer in this design has at least 3 color changes. At least 3. For the most part, for I would say 95% of the design. A 100% has at least 2, except for probably the top tip, which if you balance it out, that blue is just slightly higher. So it's all blue at that point. I am very impressed by it. Now, things I do want to move. Jolteon. Jolteon is a simple design. It's a thin design, if you look closely enough in comparison. Here's the side-by-side. So you can see the wideness of Vaporeon. Sorry, I'm trying to line these up. Takes up about another, at least 3/4 of another figure of what would be Jolteon. I can print, I think, 42 of these on one tray. It's less color changes, it's more cost effective, and it is the cheapest print out of the minis for the evolutions. I make the most of my money off of these than any of the other ones, and they're all going to be priced the same. Leafeon, I don't want to make. Clean up. Leafeon, I don't really want to make, even though I love the way it looks. Okay, the cream has potential for errors, so mediums are risky endeavors. If I get the wrong colors or the wrong matchup or the wrong temperature in the print, then I'm dealing with a lot of bleed, and that ruins prints. And I gave one of those away, and they didn't really seem to notice. Oh, people. I forget what I was talking about. Sorry, I'm dealing with this thing with these guys who are supposed to level my home. I think I got scammed out of $20,000. Now they're asking for more money, and I'm asking, give me my money back. And I keep changing the subject. I'm like, let's not change the subject anymore. Let's talk about you giving me my money back. Well, which company are you going with? Don't worry about it. Let's talk returning the funds. True. What, buddy? You coming? You're in the doorway. I need you to move, bro. He probably just wants to know what's up, why I'm talking. But yeah, I think where I was going with this is Leafeon is requires custom color or custom specific coloring that I may not be able to acquire all of the colors necessary in order to make them. So that means putting them on hold, which makes them harder to get and harder to make because I'm waiting for the certain color cream to come out. So I may need to buy that in bulk and get it ahead of time so I can keep it going. But then I don't know if it's going to sell. Now it's too soon to say. I can buy bulk primary colors like pink, blue, white, black, red, yellow, and maybe some off-colored ones like purple. I was surprised I got pink. Orange. I can't imagine a time I'm going to need a lot of orange. And orange is the most common one because you can buy PLA plastic orange pellets cheaper on Alibaba than you can get transparent or white. Orange is the cheapest. So it's available. I've thought about getting a pellet machine. Yeah. That may be in the future, but that's just more of how you choose to do your production. And I think it is technically more cost effective, but the methods to the madness I don't have the time for. That would be a lot of logistics, and I don't feel like doing that. I'm not in the game to produce filament, but I am in the game to recycle filament. So if I can buy orange pellets, turn it into filament, then print my big statues with it, and it ended up being cheaper that way. Maybe cost me $5 for a ton of filament, just a little bit of work, instead of 12, or the minimum right now for a white spool of decent filament is about $15. So if I can make orange, and it's a decent filament, and I just use it specifically for props and Trip. Inside. Inside. Yeah. Inside. You can have to go deep sleep. Chill out. You're beating yourself up, bro. What? Stop. Stop. You're okay. Do you want peep nap? I'm not set up for peep nap right now. You can go by the window. He's probably gonna fall asleep in front of my computer. My table is ludicrous. I'm just here a lot. So yeah, if I can bring that cost down from $15 to, or because I want decent filament, I want to be able to create decent filament. I can also recycle my old filaments in there and mix it with some new filament, and it would probably even cut it down even lower. And at least I could cycle through my failures, and save that filament cost somewhere else for other things. I might have a backup. Who knows? At some point, it could produce a color that I could use somewhere else, and I won't be able to duplicate it again. But it might work for this one specific thing. We'll see. That's long term, and I don't even really want to talk about that because I have different plans. This is a 2-year strategy, is how I described it to my wife. I want to be out of this method of making money within 2 years. Chances are probably 5. Because between that, I don't plan on having the time to be able to sit and produce all this stuff. So if anything, I might pass on this work to my wife in order to handle it, so I can handle the family business. In which case she can run it however she needs, whatever she needs. Here's the operation. You know how things work because you've worked in the company. Congratulations, you're the new CEO. This is how I do it. You have me for reference at any point in time. I would like a share of the profits, please, and then we will go. We'll talk profit sharing, and then move on with our lives. I'm going to work on a tiny home community, I believe, is what I'm going for in the beginning. Or at least turn this property into a tiny home living facility that a group of people working together could operate and live under one roof, things of that nature. So people can form a co-op. Maybe turn it into a rent-to-own facility. Like I'd even let them have this house with it, and here's 10 tiny homes out there. So this could be your main building for your cult worship, and then there's a warehouse out back you can use for your sacrifice or whatever. My wife's sister is talking about wanting to move out here, and I told them already that if they wanted to, they can use our property and put a house on it, and we'll go from there. But I can just cut off that piece of land, give it to them, and then sell the other part for something else. So just make it look nice. Here's some extra land for you to utilize for whatever you want. Or maybe you have some land somewhere else, and the 10 of you all living in these homes can just call this your communal living facility, and throughout the day you do whatever you want. People do that. They'll hop on it. They got a van. They all drive out to a field. They work out in a field. There's community gardens around here. It's an appealing thing right now, and in some cases a necessity for some people, and I'd rather sell it to someone who needs it for a necessity than an investment property for someone to just exploit the market for. So I could just sell off that part of the land and keep this part of the land, so that way I don't have to manage that part of the land because I don't want to. It's too big. I thought I wanted 5 acres, and now I realized I want to be on a beach whenever I want to be on a beach. And I'll never be happy, no matter what. But I miss the ocean. Ocean is a spirit. It's an animal. You can't tell me that something that absorbs electrical shocks has its own bioecosystem and cellular structures and life in it of its own. It's like a fungus, if you really think about it. There's an entire fungi that communicate for miles in tree roots and will send nutrients to certain areas to utilize for a cycle of life. It'll support plants from miles away. It'll pull water from rivers, and they'll just share it as far as they can reach. They'll keep fallen trees alive. Because essentially it's one entity. That's why they say the Earth, with all of its electromagnetism, it's just an electrical spark in the brain. It has some living semblance to it. All you need is the spark of life. That's what they call it. It's the energy built up in the body, Meshi. That's right. I did join Meshi. Okay. So yeah, we've talked item strategy, sales strategy, which, I think it's pretty simple to say that I have the minis, I have the mediums, I call them. I don't want to break one of these. And then we have the blueses. It's a Lord of the Rings joke. This is these are the large. This is the max size I can print. And I might even say this one's $250. Fair value. I could do something in between. And then we can discuss pricing. But it'll be somewhere between, I'm going to say 15 for the mediums across the board. I won't make a lot. Some of them I can make for $3. So that's Jolteon. Jolteon medium I can make for like $3. And then $5.15, or it's like almost $6. I don't remember. Sorry, I'm trying to coordinate too many different things at one time. And then I can only make one of these at a time of this size. And the amount it costs is $50, and it takes over 3 days for Sylveon. It would probably be less for others. Do you want to lay right there? I don't have the room for you right now, buddy. I'm trying to display things. He knows what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, buddy. Okay. Sit by the window. Trip is blocking my screen, which means he wants attention. Now, the ever complicated system we have to communicate what exactly he wants. Lay down. Trip. Trip. Hey. Trip. Lay down. No, I opened the window now. He's more interested in that. He'll probably come back. He just wants to see what's going on. I took him outside for a little joyride. just off the porch. You get to see the front yard, the side yard, and familiarize himself with things. I know eventually he's going to go outside. He's a good boy, and I would fear for him while he's out there. I do think he could handle himself against, say, a raccoon, so long as he had his claws. I am worried about coyotes. I know he's skittish, but he's not used to being hunted. And the entire concept of being hunted is what scares me. So, yeah, if he is out there, I want him to be at least familiar with my home. This is his home. This is where he needs to be. So we're going through the same processes that I went through with him when I first let him outside. Was this is outside, this is where you live, this is things you can smell, that this is our place. Familiarizing him with certain scents, but outside is going to change over the next few weeks, so visually I can't really show him anything. We're installing a rabbit. I got a rabbit hutch and a rabbit run, and I'm going to farm them for their fertilizer. I've decided I'm not going to eat them. I don't want to slaughter an animal. I'm going to work a different route. I don't want to be working towards living off the land. I have the option should I need to, and I'm willing to take those steps. So these are kind of like backup plans. Like, okay, we have a strategy, we have something, we have a place, we have a house. No matter what, we will have this anchor. And so I'm building that, or this foundation. I'm building this foundation of ability. But within the next year, I plan on utilizing my equity, taking all this information and money that I'll be making with my shop and all the money I make with my investments of things of that nature. I have crypto that's producing some money on the regular. I can get loans against that, and then I can make one giant purchase, install all these tiny homes, and then sell the property. But it would be paying off the loan, and the time it takes to build would be the difficult balance. So management. That's why I would need to be able to step out of the 3D printing stuff, let somebody else handle it to bring in the income, so I can manage setting up all this other stuff, getting the property ready, riding a bulldozer, flattening out the land, making it livable. Yeah. And then that'll produce a separate income, and then we can take from that, and all the extra value from the land we can use to pay off the loan, to get another loan, and then we just do the process again. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And usually when people kick off that way, it's just compounds. You just bam, 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 more money, more money, more money, and you can become a millionaire in probably assets, at least be worth $1 million in about 5 years. Depends on how quickly you can get these things delivered and set up and ready to go. But I think the first initial one, I could probably get things ready within a 6-month period. I might need to employ somebody at certain points, but I could also just get funding. My brother may be interested, but he doesn't want to talk business. Problem is, my brothers don't have time because they have kids. I'm the one with time. I don't have kids. I can be the sole person that focuses on the endeavor, and I can bring us all in. You know, you can come and help out. You can, like, if I need help, I might need, hey, you have this. Can we use it for this? Or whatever, and set your budget, and we'll work within that budget. So if we want it faster, it's probably going to cost more. But the only thing that we're not going to have to wait on is someone to work on it. I'll be right there. I may be like, just pay me enough in the beginning. Let me get a chunk of money to at least ensure that for the time being, I can pay all my bills. And I won't ask for a lot because I know that's going to come out of the bottom line. Because I'm also trying to profit too. Give me a cut of the profits. I'll take it. Because right now, what's going on in that market? Let's pull up the screen. Oh yeah, we didn't even get into these. I've already printed this motherfucker. And this motherfucker. Came out pretty good. These do not open. There is not a version of them that opens. I could probably make a version of them that opens. But I don't think that would be a good idea. So they do have the design on the back to open, but they're not designed to. Well, that one is designed to open. Oh, they don't. Yeah, they're not designed to open. But I can make one. It wouldn't be that difficult. I'm not going to, though. These are the displays. And I got their respective colored stand going with it. The teal, I think, comes in today. I'm waiting on teal to print Bulbasaur. And I'm waiting on these other prints. Speaking of, how are we doing? Looking good. Looking good. I do believe the love ball or the heal ball is about to a point where it's going to be printing all in white and should bang out really fast. So let me check.
You're a good boy, Trip. You're a good boy.
Trip is noodled on the floor. Yeah, it is almost to that point, and then once it gets to that point, it's just going to print all white, I believe, but probably not, because this whole thing black on the inside, it is pink on the inside, I believe. Damn it. That does slow it down a lot. I should fix that. I should at least to some point resolve that. Actually, this one is auto resolved. It's just a small portion. It's gold, red, gold, and then it's all black. So it's already resolved here, but not on the other one. Okay. Something to think about. We were talking about the houses. You're going to see some personal shopping in here. This is what I'm waiting on. And this. Once I get this done, I'll be able to weld a small piece, which I did manage to find the piece that I lost the other day. I know it's here. Here it is. This. These two wedges on the side go into a little groove in the ball or in the frame mechanism. No, I think it goes in the ball. And then attaches to, I don't see, that's why if you put it on one end of the ball, why not put it on the other end of the ball as well? That way it lines up perfectly when you put it together. But no, this one you have to attach it to the other ball, which doesn't make any sense to me. And the only way I can think to do it is to weld it in place. Why? Because I'm not going to sit there and try to figure out exactly how to line this up and print 1,000 of them and then, it'd be off by the minute degree, and then have to deal with all the supports and all that, especially when I know most people aren't going to care about what it looks like on the back. It would be a simple weld in some places. And I'm sure with practice, I could make it look kind of nice, or at least somewhat invisible. I've welded before. With metal. I wasn't perfect, but things like that. I got a couple of these. I think I have these already. I definitely have some of these. I do believe this is the same artist. Yep. Wow. Not true. These look cool. What do you want, Trip? don't you lay down? You want out? Outside? You trying to leave? What do you want, bro? What do you want? These look amazing. This is definitely the same artist. Because he did all this work. And he's selling the actual STLs. What's up? He's looking at the mouse on the screen. I am impressed. Don't grab it. No, stop. Ooh, that Gyarados looks good. Oh, I'm so glad I found these. What is with the hair? Shut up. Of a Diglett. Yeah. Yeah, that's done. I don't know if I got all of them. Trip. Is this in? You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Yeah. You're a good boy, Trip. Yeah. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. I got all those in. 2 out of 3 delivered. I got more white? Why did I buy more white? No, that already came. Yeah. I haven't looked through any of these. If I think about it, I might do it. Yeah, this is, this is to paint Hestia. Okay. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Come on. Come on. He's going to lay down. Lay down, Trip. Do you know how to lay down? Just don't touch my keyboard. All right. Really? Oh, I see. You want that beef jerky. What? 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 Lay down. Lay down. You're a good boy. You were fine. I was just moving that. So you can lay down. I can't see, True. Good boy. Good boy. There you go. Now, we are too late for Valentine's Day, but we did think about doing that next year. These all came in. It's got to be the same guy. Yeah, look at the teeth. Oh, I see. I'm putting those in wrong. I'll try it out next time. It was pretty good. This is the same artist. I have that one. I actually have that one printed. And Ghastly and Gengar. Let me see what exactly I purchased. Yeah, this one I'm allowed. I got permission. It's a little rough, dude. I know who that is. Who? I'm assuming this is in the middle of a paint job. Someone's happy. I guess that's what matters. I'm really interested to print Blastoise. Yeah, that's the same artist. There are slight differences. Slight. But it's very difficult to say exactly. This mechanism is not the same on the top as it is on the bottom. But I can't say for sure because that design for that circular part is indeed in a part of the design, and that circular part is actually a two-piece design, and it's a button mechanism on the inside that would be covered up by this, and that is shaped exactly the same. The teeth are shaped exactly the same. Those are the same teeth as Ghastly, and I've printed those and placed them myself. What is different is the stands. So but that is a separate item. I really just want the Snorlax, the Chikorita, whatever. I can't remember that name. This guy, that guy, that guy. I have this one already. And I have that one already. Maybe it isn't the same design. Let's ask him. We'll find out. I'll follow him. He's got good work. Great work, even. We can do a lot with this. I have these. That did come with the pack. I have these. I have these. I have these. I have these. I believe I have these. Could be wrong. He may authorize these. Who knows? I try to keep all this organized so it doesn't eat up my memory. I don't need 9 windows open of Etsy. All right, I'm going to end the stream because I have nothing else to figure out. If I can get the designs for those, that would expand that market. And then we can just stick with Pokemon for our miniature sales. For now. People do love Pokemon. And I think just the pop-up store where people are like, boom, we're here. And then boom, we're not. People are like, you got to grab it right then. Otherwise, you're not going to get any. All right. Goodbye.